Good day, everyone. Today we're making hummus. We're going to make some garlic hummus, and I'm going to show you how to make a little bit of a tray. We're also going to make hummus right from the dried chickpeas, but you can also buy them in cans as well, like your garbanzo beans, and we'll talk about that. So chickpeas go by two names: garbanzo beans and chickpeas. So if you see one or the other, you're still dealing with the same animal. Let's look at what we're dealing with on a mise en place here today. Of course, we have chickpeas, and I'm using the dry version. So you can buy them in cans. They come already cooked and ready to go in cans, and that's fine. These are for my garnish. I'm just going to make a tray with that. So I've just got some different crackers. I've got some vegetables here. I've got some sesame seeds because we're going to need tahini, and we're going to make tahini from scratch. You can buy tahini as well in little jars, and that's fine. You can totally use that, but it's basically a sesame paste, like sesame seeds paste. We're going to need a lemon, we're going to need some garlic, salt and pepper, and some olive oil, okay? And here are the garbanzo beans. I soaked them overnight, and I've boiled them today in a little bit of salt. We're going to need that liquid as well as the chickpeas themselves. And there's a couple of options. Some people make their hummus and they take off the skins. So I don't know if you can see what I just did there. I'm going to leave the skins in, but if you want it a little bit smoother, you can take all the little skins off. It's a little bit too much work for me. I'm thinking, no, I like the extra fiber and the extra roughage. So we'll get started. We're going to make the tahini first. Okay, step one, we're going to make tahini. And tahini is sesame paste, and it's really, really, really simple. It's basically sesame seeds roasted and blend it up into a paste with olive oil. So that's it. Now, you can buy this stuff, but making it yourself is pretty easy too. So I need about a cup of sesame seeds. And in the recipe, you can do them in the oven. You can lay them on a tray and do them in the oven that way. And you're not trying to burn them, you're just trying to roast them. And you'll see that that smell will start to permeate all the way through your home, your kitchen. If you don't like the flavor of sesame, hummus can be made without tahini, but tahini, I think, brings out that flavor of really good hummus. And even though hummus is a real simple dip and you see it all over the place, there are good ones and there are some that are just not that great. So we're going to try to make a good one. So what we're going to do is just kind of keep this moving, keep this moving, keep this moving. And I'm going to continue this process. I'll show you when they're all nice and roasted. Okay, so I've got this going. I'm keeping it moving. I'm not leaving the room. I'm letting this go. But what I wanted to say is the reason we're going to do the tahini first is because today I'm going to be using a little magic bullet. But a food processor is really one of the best things that you can use. But this will work in a pinch. So I'm going to be doing my tahini first. Any tahini I have left over, I'm going to put in this jar and put in my fridge so I can use it another day. But that's going to save me from having to clean this container when I go to make my hummus. So if you do your tahini first, then you won't need to clean this. You just make your hummus in there and off you go. Okay, so that's just a little tip. I'm going to continue to roast these for a little bit and we'll see you in a second. Okay, my sesame seeds are looking really, really good. Okay, so basically all I've been doing is just sort of stirring them around, just give them a little flip like that and keep them going. And I'm getting some nice golden brown colors here. So I'll try to show you that. There we go. So I think you can start to see all the nice little browns and stuff. And it's starting to smell really, really nice. Okay, so we're going to continue that process. As this is going, I'm going to take this little container that I'm going to use for this magic bullet. I'm going to put in about a quarter cup of olive oil. And that should do it right there. Okay. And you can totally measure that. I've made this a few times, so I'm just going to go with my eyes here. And oh yeah, I'm getting some nice, and you can actually see a little bit of smoke coming up here. So that's great. So what's happening is when we roast that, all those oils are coming out. And these are oil-soluble flavors, so that's why we're adding this oil too, because we're basically going to permeate that flavor into this oil, and that's going to help make it nice and pasty for us to use it. Okay, so once this is roasted, what you're going to want to do is you're just going to take this off the heat. If I pour this in either onto a plastic bowl or something like that, those seeds will melt right through it. So I want to just let those cool a little bit before I add them to this. Okay, so I'm going to add these to this, and the next view I'll show you when we're putting it into the magic bullet. And don't worry, I'm going to spare you the sound. You're not going to have to listen to that. All right, guys, we'll see you in a bit. Okay, so I've just put this in here with the oil, and you'll see, so you can see what the texture is kind of like. It's kind of, I don't know, like wet sand almost, like that. Okay, so I'm going to flip that over. I'm going to run it on here, and then I'll show you the consistency of that. Okay, so here we are. It's all finished now. Now, I know that for my recipe, I need 2 tablespoons, and I wanted to make a little extra so that I could use it for other things. So that's what I'm going to do now. So you can kind of see, because it's still kind of hot, it's a lot more liquid. It smells absolutely delightful. And what I'm going to do is I only need 2 tablespoons left, so I'm going to keep about 2 tablespoons in my container here. And I need a little bit more. And because I did it in this order, I can now just keep this in here, and I don't have to worry about getting a clean container. If I was making if I was mixing up my garbanzo beans first, then obviously my tahini, I would have to clean that out because I want this to be pure. So I'm going to take this tahini, I'm going to let it cool, and then I'm going to put it in my fridge, and I can use this for other things. Okay, so we're going to get into assembling the actual hummus now. Okay, so we're going to start building our hummus now. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to use this container here, and we're going to start to put the things that we want in it. So step 1 is really is garlic. And there's a couple ways to do this. I like hummus with roasted garlic, but on a later lesson, I'll show you guys how to roast garlic. The idea is pretty simple. You take a whole bunch of garlic like this, you cut the top of it off, you put it into a little foil package, you put olive oil on it, a little bit of salt and pepper, wrap it up, and you put it in the oven at about 300 degrees for an hour or so. And what happens is it roasts all the garlic, and then those little bulbs come out. It has a way different flavor than raw garlic, but traditional hummus, of course, is that raw garlic. So that's what we're going to do today. So one of the best ways to deal with this is you just take this thing here, just give it a little twist, and you should be able to take the whole shell off of it, okay? So I'll show you again. Clip, like that, and put that here. Same thing, we're gonna do it. Now, the recipe calls for 2, and of course there's a real joke amongst chefs and other food aficionados that when it calls for 2, double it. And if it says no garlic, still add 2 cloves, right? So I like the flavor, so I'm going to add 4 cloves of this. You'll also notice by the color of the shells, we were talking about this for our assignment for the local foods, that this has got nice purple skins on it. This is Ontario garlic, which I told you before is some of the best garlic in the world. So I'm just going to cut the little ends off. It would probably get blended, but I might as well just take those off like that. So I'm just cutting those off, the little ends, throwing them in whole, like that. Okay, I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of salt, like that. And I need 4 tablespoons of lemon. And I'm going to be just estimating here, about a half lemon will probably do it. Okay, and I'm going to make sure those are all in there. I plucked out the seeds that I could see, so they should be gone. Oh, I did see one go in there. All right, I'm going to pluck that one out. There we go. Even if some of that pulp goes in there, not a big deal. So let's just rescue that one seed. There we go. Okay, so far, that's what I've got in here. Okay, my tahini is already in there, but I wanted 2 tablespoons of tahini. And I'm going to take my garbanzo beans or chickpeas, same thing. And I'll bring those over here. So just to remind you of what I did, I took these dry chickpeas, I soaked them overnight, and then in the morning I boiled them with some salt, And I boiled them to the point where they were nice, and I forgot how much I like chickpeas. They're wonderful, and they're so good for you. So once they're nice and, they're kind of, you can bite through them and they sort of break apart in your mouth. That's exactly what you want. You don't want them to be too hard. Okay. That being said, before we munch up all this stuff, we want to make sure that we take some of those out. We're going to use those for garnish at the end. Okay. You'll often notice when you get hummus, sometimes there's some, it look like rougher bits on the top, and usually that's what they do is they keep some back and then throw them on there. So I'm going to take those aside right now because I'll probably forget. There we go. All right, and I'll put these on my cutting board here. That's it. All right, now let's get some of those in there. Now the reason I'm not just pouring this into there is because I want to save some of that liquid. That liquid will help me adjust the thickness of my hummus. Okay, so if I find that it's way too thick, I can always add a little bit. Now, one thing I forgot in there too is we want 2 tablespoons of olive oil. There we go. All right, and we're gonna throw some pepper in there too. I'm actually using white pepper. I like the white pepper because it doesn't give me those black flakes. Not that it's a crime to use the other stuff. You can absolutely use black pepper, not a problem. All right, so I'm gonna take these garbanzo beans, and like I told you guys before, if you want, you could take all the little shells off these things, all the, the outside casing, but I'm not going to. There we go. Now this recipe calls for about 1 19-ounce can. I'm probably gonna do these, put these in a bowl and do some more. That's it. I don't want to overfill it because I want to make sure it goes there. And I'm going to add a little bit of the liquid too, just to soften it up. All right, going to put this lid back on. And once again, I'm not going to have this thing go while you listen to it and watch it, because I'm sure it's going to sound horrible. But I'll show you the texture when I'm done. Okay, I just thought I'd show you here. So it gets pretty thick pretty quick. So what I've done is I'm just going to scrape the sides down, make sure that everything's all nice and blended. And I'm going to add a little bit more of that water. Okay, so like that. And I just tasted it as well. It tastes very, very good. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Add some water, and I'm going to put it back on just to get it blended really, really well, because it is rather thick right now. Okay, so I'll do that and be right back. All right, let's start to assemble a tray to serve it all up in. So I'm going to start off with my hummus. I'm going to take that hummus, I'll put it in this center container here. And when I'm doing that, I'm trying to drop it through the center so that the edges don't have any hummus all over them. You want this to look as clean as possible. And we'll do that. Beautiful. All right, so after that, so you remember how we kept some of these chickpeas aside? We're going to chop those up a little bit. I think I have a few too many. I think I'm going to, I'll get rid of some of these right now. There we go. You just want to give it some sort of texture. So I'm just going to cut those up like that. And I'm going to just put those on my hummus like that. Also going to add a little bit of olive oil on the top. Like that. And I'm going to chop a little bit of flat leaf parsley. Okay, like this. I'm going to take this up and I'm going to make a chiffonade. So if you recall, the chiffonade, I take these herbs, I roll them up like this, and then just sort of shred them like that. Okay, and then I'll take that, I'll put that on the top like that. Beautiful. Now, I bought these, I didn't make these, but these could be made at home as well. So I'll take a few of these, put them on the side. Like that. Like that. And then I didn't make these crackers either, but going to put those on there as well. I'm just going to fan those out a little bit, like that. And then I'm going to turn this over, like that. And then I'm going to put some fresh vegetables on there as well. Okay, so I'm just going to move this on the side. Cucumber. I'm going to cut them into sticks so that you can actually dip with them. Okay, you could make circles too, I guess. But we're going to just go with little tiny sticks. And it just sort of works with the theme of my dish here as well. Okay, so do that. And I want to try to balance out the colors here. So I have orange, green, and orange. So I don't want to put the two greens together. I'm going to separate it out with the carrots here. So I'll put the cucumbers over here. I'll put the celery over here. And then that'll break up those colors a little bit for me. All right, so once that's done, I'm just going to fan them into this corner here, like that. I want some of those green peel sides to show up, just to break up that coloring a little bit. Like that. I just want to fan it out a little bit. Again, these crackers are half this side. I'm going to flip that over like that. There we go. Just going to open that up like that. Then my carrots, the same thing. I'm going to cut those. This is sort of like the knife test that you guys did for me. So just a little reminder on safety, right? Tip down, cut, cut, and then I'll flip this over, cut, and cut. That's a flying carrot there. And then like that, like that. And then I'll take these carrots and I'll put these in this little section in the middle right here, like this. So I'll just show you when I'm done here. I have to pile them up, and you just want it to look kind of full and plenty. And speaking of full and plenty, I think I'm going to throw the rest of these crackers on there too. I don't know, it's just sort of bugging me. It doesn't look balanced. So I'm just going to go with a few more just to sort of fill up that corner a little bit better. That's it. That's what I want to do. Perfect. Like that. And then I'll take this celery, and I'll make some sticks out of that as well. So same thing, you guys should all be experts by now after we finished our knife testing, the whole bit. So remember, fingers tucked back, thumb behind, okay, pinch grip, tip down, cut, tip down, like that, always. Okay, so if the tip is down, it has less places for the knife to go, okay? So if it's just flying in the air and it slips, it could slip right into you. So you don't want that to happen. So tip down, at least that gives me sort of a direct control on the chopping action. Okay, so these are all my celery bits. So I'm gonna go with the opposite corner on this one. And I'm gonna put that guy up here. That's it. Probably could have used a little bit more celery, to be honest, but that's okay. We'll go with it like that. Beautiful. There, and I think we are in good shape. So I'm about to make some people here very, very happy. All right, so let me show you what the tray looks like. Okay, so that's sort of what we're looking for. Okay, so the focal point, of course, is my hummus, and everything else, my colors are pretty balanced. You can put anything you like on this. I mean, hummus is just wonderful. I mean, you can use it as a spread for sandwiches. You can do so many other things. And like I told you before, you can change up those flavors too. So roasted peppers, you could put in there. Some chipotle peppers you could have. So if you've got chipotle peppers, you could mix that in there as well. I like it with the roasted peppers. I like it with roast garlic. This you can go crazy with. And if you really like garlic, throw more in there. And then you'll get that real strong sort of spicy taste. Anyways, I hope that inspires you to try making hummus from scratch. And today we made our own tahini, and we also made our chickpeas. We took those from dry, so that's awesome. Anyway, good luck. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.